We are live on your DSTV, channel 421, Go TV 144. Thanks for choosing us. This is Joy News Prime. Our headlines this hour. Doctors and nurses in the Upper West region walk long distances and in some cases close to neighboring Burkina Faso, all in search of potable water for healthcare.
Our institutional or skilled deliveries from 54.4% to a 63.6%. with a set target of 60.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagman lashes out at the First Deputy Speaker Joseph Osoyusu over what he describes as his penchant to overturn his rulings.
The penchant of the First Deputy Speaker to overrule my rulings is, to say the least, unconstitutional, illegal, and offensive.
He is also threatened to compel the marshals to drown out MPs who are in breach of parliamentary processes.
I will be compelled to get a marshal to get people arrested and sent out. You make me sick. Will you shut up?
Also in our package tonight, Association of Bankers blame the Interior Ministry for stalled processes for the clearance of some imported bulletproof bullion vans for use in the country.
Plastic
We have details as eyewitnesses narrate how an armored bullion van saved the lives of a police officer and cash-in-transit personnel after 4 armed men attempted to rob it Tuesday. Also, President Akufo-Addo gives the strongest indication the Commander Sugar Factory will start operations in April this year.
Some civil works are being done there. By the end of March, it will be completed. By April, production will have begun of the sugar factory.
Coming up in business, Association of Ghana Industries rejects reduction of the benchmark values. AGI says it was not consulted.
We've not been part of any discussion to have come to this conclusion. And we've not received any official notification from government.
I am Ernest Mino, and this is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Stay for details. The Ghana Association of Bankers is blaming the Interior Ministry for stalled processes for the clearance of some imported bulletproof bullion vans for use in the country. President of the association, Johnny Wa, says the Interior Ministry had raised security concerns about the vehicles, which he says are currently parked at the Tema Harbour. His comments come in the wake of the attempted bullion van robbery at the industrial area here in Accra on Tuesday. In June last year, the police directed all banks to use fortified vehicles to carry cash after a policeman providing escort services for a bullion van was shot and killed. We'll hear from Johnny Wa shortly, but first, listen to some eyewitnesses who have been speaking to Joy News.
Magazine year 22 no makeka bom no mabaneji. Magazine year 2 bia year 2 no mabaneji say no e to back. No say bibia plastic po ba na ka se car na ne tapai. Nti ehwe na e to ti
There were 4 of the robbers on 2 motorbikes. We heard the loud sound and thought a car's tire had burst. So we came out to see. The guys were wielding AK-47 with 2 sets of magazines strapped to them. They shot several times into the bullion van, but because it was armored, the bullets just deflected into the crowd.
A white one company of fire fire boy no who said no said no enye yenti ba ko no fa say fire driver no na driver no move car no slow down kakra o manim ha pe to help no move car no corner nim no shoot to driving mirror until driving mirror pe ne pae enra na sa Afghanistan no ko na bomb na ekoso bullet na ekoso and na no washi
We thank God that the workers here were not on break, so not so many people were outside. Otherwise, a lot of people would have died. We really had to run. Yesterday, I went all out on the sprint.
Station will be cast Sean Roberts. The Mitani Magister Rome is 20 Ginaso, and then Yassam. Hey, Makuma dear 2 Yagasa. The Papa Brana me feeling John no bad saying, Camina Midina Hanka when never bomb me. The 20 boy Bran and I, and the American dear fan of qua.
Not to me to America.
We can now hear from the president of the Ghana Association of Bankers, John Ewa. He is blaming the Interior Ministry for the stalled processes for the clearance of some imported armored bullion vans for use in the country.
I can say that we've made some progress. From the perspective of the bank, we've made a lot of progress. Unfortunately, we need the Interior Ministry to also fast track their processes and to enable them release the documentation that will enable banks bring in these vehicles. As we speak, some banks have armored vehicles parked at the Tema Harbour. They are unable to clear them because the processes for getting these vehicles cleared at the Interior Ministry have almost stalled. We are not making any progress at the ministry at the moment.
So give us a clear picture of how many banks currently have these armored vehicles and those who don't or are in the process of making procurement.
The way the cash in transit process works, most of the banks do not undertake the operations themselves. It's an outsourced operation. So we have cash in transit companies, and in this particular incident, it was one of the companies, Montran, whose vehicle was involved in the incident. So it is the companies, a lot of the instances, who are procuring the vehicles. But some banks have taken upon themselves to procure some strategic stock or fleet of the vehicles. So in the unlikely event that there is a mishap somewhere, their vehicles will step in to ensure seamless cash movement. Unfortunately, the process for securing what they call the no objection certificate from the Interior Ministry before you can bring in armored vehicles into the country. And just to give them a little bit of background, these vehicles are not your normal vehicles that we see on our roads. These are security vehicles. So the concern the Interior Ministry has raised with the industry is, given the numbers that we are talking about replacing all the soft body vans and replace them with these armored bullion vans. What it means, if we have 300 to 400 soft skin vans, we are going to have almost the same number in bullion vans on our streets, which to them also can pose another level of security risk. So to some extent, I can understand that they want to have a structure around it. But unfortunately, the process towards, putting in place the structure that will allow us to bring in this vehicle has just been completely broken down. We don't even know how to proceed from here anymore. The approvals have stalled. Those who have managed to bring some of the vehicles to the port, the vehicles are parked there, and we have no visibility on what is happening that will enable us to clear them.
Let's do some more on this story. We're joined by the Director General in charge of Public Affairs for the Ghana Police Service, DCOP Kwesifori. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Joy News Prime. We have been to the grounds. We've heard from eyewitnesses, but if you could give us some more detail about this incident and how the officer and the other personnel were saved in this incident, followed by your officer who was at post, we understand.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, Montrak Security Service was involved in carrying bulk cash from one point to the other. And at industrial area, North Kaneshie in Accra, unknown to them, a group of armed robbers on motorbike attacked their vehicle with sporadic shooting. And thank God it was a special vehicle, though they had their targets in terms of aiming the car, but it was not able to penetrate into the car to hit any of the insiders. They're talking about the bank officials, the police officer in question, and others. But all I would like to say is that this special vehicle is a very good one. Yesterday, the police administration re-echoed our position that carrying bulk cash from one place to the other, be it intra-regional transaction or inter-regional transaction across the country, they need special vehicles of this kind. because it is an ample evidence that yesterday we saved lives.
And as far as this is concerned, I know the police administration issued a directive somewhere last year to the banks to procure this. Following that, there was a meeting with other stakeholders, including the Bank of Ghana. In fact, the suggestion was that this could be done in 3 years. But the experts have said, because of the situation at hand, 3 years will be too much of a time. Today, we are hearing from the Association of Bankers that they're having some challenges importing the vehicles. What can you tell us about the level of compliance from the banks as far as this directive is concerned?
Well, thank you very much. We are very happy that Montreal is using such a vehicle, armored-plated vehicle, that will protect officers and occupants of the vehicle. And we are saying that that is the way to go. But regarding the issues raised by the chairman or president of the Institute of Bankers, I would like to say that the police are not involved in certification of vehicles.
Absolutely.
And it is an administrative issue for which they can continue. And that police will not like to comment on those issues. But what we are saying is that yesterday's incident, in spite of the fact that the vehicle was a special vehicle and the armed robbers continued to shoot at, we had a police officer who forcefully intervened. He was deployed at a strategic installation. He moved in, to stop the robbers. Unfortunately, the robbers shot into the crowd, and 3 people sustained various degrees of injuries. Quickly, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Dampare, spoke to the medical authorities to assess the victims in whatever way they can, and police gave support to that effect, and he also spoke to some of the victims based on the permission of the medical authorities, and he assured them that the police will do everything possible to get the perpetrators. As I speak to you, we've assembled special teams of anti-robbery squad to move in, and we can assure Ghanaians that no matter what, we're going to get them soonest, and they will face justice. And we are very serious and committed, and let members of the public also know the effort initiated by the police administration, deployed massively at all joints, intersections, and various locations in the city, not only the countrywide, Bono East, Bono region, the northern region, Upper East, Upper West, we are everywhere making sure. And you might have noticed that in recent time, from the last quarter up to date, it has been very quiet in terms of robbery. And we're not going to sit down aloof. We're going to scale up our security operations again to make sure that we contain them.
But this assurance is good, but immediately what comes to mind is the last incident, which was around Kolebu, that saw one of your officers die in that incident. What is the update on that? Have we been able to arrest the perpetrators?
You mean that they didn't put...
They didn't put, exactly, yes.
We've done a lot, in terms of fighting these daylight robberies. And I believe that at appropriate time we might come out, and tell Ghanaians a good story about what we've done to contain it. And this new one that also surfaced, we'll deal with it.
Now, in the absence of these special vehicles, what has been done? What is the arrangement to ensure that these bulk cash are transmitted in a way that is safe for your officers and the general public?
Police, we are committed to the safety of all manner of persons. In spite of the fact that some of the makeshift vehicles are still being used, we devise strategies we cannot put out, to make sure that we protect the carrying of bulk cash from one place to the other. We are seriously on the ground, and we are protecting them to allow business to go on.
And that strategy includes what? Extra men? Because as it stands now...
It may involve extra men, it may involve special escort, and what have you.
But how is the police service taking this? I mean, we saw the anger, we saw how the families of these individuals who have died in the various robbery incidents, devastated, worried about the loss of their breadwinners, for instance. Are we not putting the lives of police officers, I mean, beyond the general public,
officer safety
in danger if the banks do not adhere to this directive?
Officer safety is very paramount and dear to the police administration. As I'm saying that yesterday, the police administration re-echoed its position that special vehicles light armor plated vehicles should be used in carrying, bulk cash from one point to the other, and that will encourage that step. And ever since the death that you mentioned, a lot of discussion took place. Even the new police administration even engaged the governor of the Bank of Ghana, the managing directors of all the financial institutions in the country, and we agreed on special terms to upgrade our services and also to make sure that these special vehicles comes on board as a solution. And as I speak to you, we are adhering to that. We are working, and we are very happy that companies like Montrak have brought in special vehicles, and yesterday it is an evidence for us, to talk about saving lives of the bank officials and the police officer on duty. So that is the way to go. But regarding what the association is saying, I believe administrative procedure, things need to be done according to law and procedure. And the police, we are not involved in certification. I will not delve into that angle, but we hope that at the end of it, the dust will settle, and whoever is involved in carrying bulk cash, among others, will do it in safety.
Thank you very much. That's DCOP Kwesi Fori. He is Director General in charge of Public Affairs for the Ghana Police Service. Let's do some other stories away from security. The search for water by nurses in the Wild West District has compelled some of them to travel to far communities, some close to neighboring Burkina Faso. The Wild West District Health Directorate is appealing to government to provide potable water sources for use by hospitals. Rafiq Salam reports from Wichao.
Health sector review meetings held by the various metropolitan, municipal and district health directorates in the country are aimed at taking stock of the achievements and challenges. It is also an accountability mechanism where the performance indicators of the directorate are presented and discussed with their key stakeholders with a view to finding ways to enhance service delivery. The Wild West District is therefore no exception, as major stakeholders in the health sector, including heads of decentralized institutions, civil society organizations, development partners, and traditional rulers, were brought together to deliberate on issues on the performance indicators of the district. Wild West District Director of Health Services, Clifford Venkumane, set the tone of the conference by laying bare the successes chalked under the year in review.
We increased our institutional or skill deliveries from 54.4% to a 63.6% with a set target of 60. This was achieved by training and deploying midwives to facilities including chief zones that contributed tremendously to the skill delivery average.
Clifford Venkumane, however, lamented on how staff risk their lives to armed robbers due to lack of accommodation.
There are instances where staff cannot get a room to rent in the community where they have been posted, and that compels these staff to commute daily for work, impacting on their health, exposing them to robbery, and also affecting their finances. Our facility water coverage is a major concern.
The Wild West District Director of Health Services also expressed worry over the lack of potable water in some of their facilities, making some of the staff to use productive working hours, carrying gallons looking for water.
A lot of facilities are there without access to potable water, not even from the community. We have health facilities that do not have single borehole, and even the community that they are cited, there is no borehole.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Wichao.
Let's speak to the MP for the area, Peter Tobu. He joins us on the line. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Joy News Prime. This is an area that already has challenges with the numbers when it comes to health personnel. This definitely is another layer of disincentive for health officers. You must be worried. Well, we seem to have lost the MP on the line, but let's speak to the Ghana Registered Nurses Association. We're joined by its president, Perpetual Ofori Ampofo. Thank you very much, madam, for your time here on Joy News Prime. First of all, what's your reaction to this story from West, where some of your members are compelled by the circumstance to travel long distances in search of water?
Good evening to your listeners. It's indeed a worrying situation to have our comrades, our colleagues walk such distance to get water to do what they need to do. It's unfortunate that these things are happening amidst salaries that are inadequate and all of that. During our last negotiation on our conditions of service, we drummed home the need to have a rural incentive package for our comrades who work in these rural areas to serve as motivation for them. It's sometimes very difficult for our colleagues to accept posting to such deprived areas. And once they do, and they are ready to give up their best in terms of their profession, I think there shouldn't be this added difficulties of water or anything else that will make their work more difficult.
Joined by the communications manager at the Ghana Water Company, Stanley Mate. Mr. Mate, the Jambusu Wa Water Project was expected to extend water supply to some of these areas, but we are learning that this area, specifically, or these areas within the district, are not exactly within the jurisdiction of your company. How so?
Yes, that is true. So it's only an assumption that is supposed to serve all areas within the region. With Ghana, with the water sector, okay, we are divided into rural and then urban water. The GWCL serves only urban areas. Okay, occasionally we give water to some rural areas by virtue of their location and by their population as one of the factors. Okay, so looking at the areas around Jambuzi, or the areas along the Jambuzi route, we have had challenges with them, and we are trying to manage that one. We are trying to solve this problem together with community water and ensure that they have water. But for now, it is not within our domain to be supplying water to those areas.
So
and, like I said, we are having that discussion with community water, and then we'll know how to go about it.
So can you let us into some details with about this conversation with community water? When you say you are having a conversation with them, are you looking at extending water supply to cover these areas as well?
Okay, so for now, there are some areas where we can sell bulk water to community water, and then they can manage within the communities. So we are looking at all those areas, and it's not just the Upper West region, but the entire country. So there are some areas within the country where we should be able to supply them water. But because it is not within our jurisdiction, we may have to have that discussion with the community water, and then they buy bulk water from us, and then they supply to these communities, and then they know how to collect their revenue and all that. So that discussion is ongoing. And like I'm saying, it is not just about Upper West, but the entire country.
Mr. Mate, I'm grateful that you could join us. That's Stanley Mate. He speaks for the Ghana Water Company. Let's stay on healthcare, and we'll return to the Nurses Association shortly, because the acting director of the Metropolitan Director of Health at the Tamale Metropolis has raised concerns over absenteeism among nurses in all 52 health facilities in the metropolis. He said only 1/3 of the staff go to work regularly. According to him, this is affecting service delivery.
Speaking on a panel discussion at the 2021 Annual Performance Review meeting of the Tamale Metro Health Directorate on the theme improving the quality of routine service in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, the role of effective human resource management in the Tamale Metropolis, Dr. Bewu cited a health facility only 18 out of the 60 health workers attend work regularly.
Generally, only about a third of the people who are happy come to work regularly. In one of our healthcare centers, we had about 60 staff on duty, on roll. If you do an analysis of the attendance, it's only about 18 people that come to work regularly, which means the rest, 32, virtually don't show up at work, but they get paid every month. The situation is very similar across all the healthcare centers. It is time, therefore, for all of us to put our heads together to address these challenges so that we can all be assured that should any of us develop an emergency here in this room and rush to any of our healthcare facilities, our facilities will not be the reasons why we die prematurely.
Madam Perpetual Ofori-Ampofo is still with us on the line. She's the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses Association. Madam, your reaction to this, your members are not going to work, and already we know the situation in many of our facilities where the numbers are extremely low. What's your reaction to this?
Thank you, Ernest, but let me put in a little correction. The name of the association is Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
Very well taken. Thank you so much.
Absenteeism at the workplace, for me, is a lapse in the administrative system. As a trade union, we do not condone any such unprofessionalism on the part of our members. But the news item, if I heard right, was referring to health workers, especially at the health centers. It did not state that it was mainly nurses and midwives. But to say the least, it's important that the management or the district health directors or whoever are involved as management should look at the issue critically, because the Ghana Health Service has its rules and regulations, and it has policies that guides employees in terms of what they need to do and what they don't have to do. And there are policy guidelines for disciplinary measures that can be made to people who flout these regulations. And therefore, if they are having issues of absenteeism, I see it as a lapse in the administrative system, and that they should sit up and do the right thing. They shouldn't be withheld by issues of maybe it was this somebody who fronted this person to be posted here or there, and therefore it's difficult for me to talk about this. They're bold enough to do what they need to do. We have ethical questions, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a pharmacist or any other professional. And as part of our ethics and standards, you can't just absent yourself from work. The guidelines, if for any reason you cannot go to work, the systems are there. You must use those systems to get the right permission to absent yourself. If it is sick leave that you need a few days to go off to do one thing or the other, the systems are there. You just use the right channels and then you get the permission. But you just don't get up when you are on a duty roster to be on duty to take care of your patients and clients. You just wake up and you decide not to go to work. That's one, it's not right. I cannot endorse it.
Madam, I'm grateful for your time. That's the president of the Association of Registered Nurses and Midwives, Madam Perpetual Ofori-Ampofo, for joining us there. Let's speak to the MP for Tobu, Peter, the MP for Wa West, Peter Tobu, who joins us on our earlier story about the lack of water or potable water for healthcare delivery in the Wa West district. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Your reaction to this story?
Thank you very much. Let me say good evening to your cherished listeners and viewers. Wa West district was created in 2004. And lucky enough, it has the Jamboso water project that is feeding the regional capital, Wa. Unfortunately, many people in the Wa West district do not have access to potable water, and very particularly so with the CHIPS compounds or the health facilities. Wa West has about 230 communities, and many of them are yet to see even a borehole for the first time in their lives. Myself, the district chief executive, and the director of health of the Wa West district are putting ourselves together to see what we can do to help. Government must come in. As MP, I am doing the best that I can. As I'm talking to you, I am sending a few bowls home to see what I can do to help some of the CHIPS compounds that are really in dire need of water. The problem about water connected with communication challenges is really frustrating health workers in the district. That you go to a village, one, you don't even have accommodation that you can rent. Number two, the network is not there for you to use your phone. And number three, there is no potable water. So whatever it is, the people are so challenged. And that is why sometimes we pray that if you are people from that district who are nurses or who are teachers and they want to go back there to support their own people, we pray that authorities will always send such people back. That is not to say that there's no need for us to provide these facilities. As long as we are available and we can support, we are continuing doing our best. And I'm happy that this story is broken, and everybody listening who can support in any way. We do know that it doesn't matter who you are as an MP. Your 4 years common fund cannot provide enough water even for 230 communities in Wawe. But I will do my best.
Thank you very much, sir. That's the Member of Parliament for West, Peter Tobu, speaking to us there on that story from the district where nurses have to walk long distances in search of potable water for healthcare delivery. This is Joy News Prime with me, Anas Mino. Still to come, Speaker of Parliament has threatened to compel marshals to drag out MPs who are in breach of parliamentary processes.
I'll be compelled to get a marshal to get people arrested and sent out. You make me sick. Will you shut up?
And in business, the Association of Ghana Industries rejects the reduction of the benchmark values. AGI says it was not consulted.
We've not been part of any discussion to have come to this conclusion. And we've not received any official notification from government.
Details of these and more after the break. Stay with us.
Hi, good evening. Glad you could join us for business. My name is Darrell Kwa. We begin with the benchmark value policy and the controversy surrounding it. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has rejected the reduction of the benchmark values on general goods from 50% to 30%, as well as import discounts on vehicles from 30% to 10%. The reduction of the values is reportedly the outcome of negotiations between government and interested parties. The Ghana Union of Traders Association has expressed satisfaction at this arrangement. However, the AGI is questioning the new revisions, indicating the association was not engaged on the matter. Here's Greater Kwa Chairman Chonam Akpelo.
Our view is simple. We're saying that we have been calling for the total reversal of the benchmark value because, per the calculations, that's the only way we can begin to get back the economy on track. You realize in recent times that the cedi has been depreciating against the dollar. And the reasons are simple, because you're incentivizing importation of finished products. It's to import, and that's what's happening. And it's making the local economy suffer, because it is only when you expand your local production and actually even export that you improve your currency, value and so on. And now we're seeing the realities. So for us in AGI, we still believe very strongly that government should consider to totally reverse the benchmark value. That way, all of us as a country will begin to be excited and be happy in building the nation Ghana together.
All right, so we need to make this clear. The official position of the AGI on the issue with the benchmark values is that you haven't agreed to the reductions that are being reported in the media.
I'm not aware of any government consultation with AGI as far as this new announcement is concerned.
So as far as you are concerned, where are we at in terms of negotiations with all the interested parties?
We're waiting to be called to have that discussion.
Meanwhile, the association, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, rather, has expressed surprise at what it says is the entrenched position of the AGI.
It for us to have a broader stakeholder engagement. The GRA met with us individually and talked with us. And so I'm surprised that they are taking this extreme position, entrenched position. We do not owe AGI anything. and they cannot take us for ransom. It's not fair. What they are doing is not fair. They are just being extreme and just trying to manipulate government.
So you are saying that, just a minute, you're saying that you were met individually and not as a group in order to reach that decision. So don't you think that the AGI has a point there when it says that we didn't agree to a reduction?
They didn't agree to what?
A reduction in the benchmark values.
They do not run the economy of state. They are giving their petition to government. They were seeking 100% withdrawal of the benchmark policy, reduction policy. And government have listened to us also. And then government says that, no, he cannot take all the 50%, but he can go halfway with us. It means that government have listened to their pleas. And they cannot take us for ransom. We are not going to accept that. We do not owe AGI.
We haven't seen the end of this, apparently. Well, let's turn to other stories for you tonight. Israel is investing $20,000 in some agri-technology startups. The embassy, in collaboration with InnoHub, a software development company, and the PS Program for Global Innovation, is supporting agri-tech companies through the Israel-Ghana Agri-Tech Accelerator Program. As part of the program, a demonstration day was held to enable participants pitch their businesses to an expert panel. Here's more in this report.
The Israel-Ghana Agri-Tech Accelerator Program aims at supporting and enhancing the capacity of local agri-tech businesses to build on the technology innovation component to improve the agricultural sector. According to the head of trade and economic relations at the Israeli embassy, Ayelet Levin-Karp, the program is to create an avenue for both countries to learn from each other. Hence, the value derived cannot be quantified.
With a program, we are very happy with the outcome, and yet, of course, there are things that we would improve for the next version. That feedback that we got both from the Israeli mentors and experts and from the Ghanaian companies showed that there's definitely value and interest from both sides for this program. So we definitely want to continue these programs, but we are not only focusing on this program only, but we are looking at the bigger picture, and we want to see how we bring these two agriculture sectors together in many different levels. So it's, of course, for the government-to-government programs that we are doing, for the business-to-business models, and in this program too. And we have various programs in the agricultural sector because we see a lot of opportunities there, both for the Israeli and the Ghanaian ecosystem.
Chief Executive of InnoHub, Nelson Amu, indicated that one of the objectives of the program is to connect Ghanaian agri-tech startups with Israeli investors and experts.
Essentially, we noticed that when we talk about scaling for farmers, productivity to value addition, the technology component is not always coming out strongly. And there are a few startups in the country who are seeking to support farmers with the right technologies to be able to, one, scale their production and add value in terms of packaging and processing. So what we sought to do is to find these agri-tech startups and support them to be able to enhance the operations, enhance their technology. So we, through the help of the Israeli embassy and through some Israeli partner called the PS Program, we got them Israeli mentors who work with them to really enhance the technology component of their innovation. And then through that, they're able to scale up their projects, scale up their business, and ultimately the end game is how can they provide more support to the agricultural value chain in the country, right from production or pre-production to value addition or processing.
The Israel-Ghana Agri-Tech Accel ran a 3-month training encompassing classroom sessions, participant-led workshops, and individualized mentor support. It was climaxed with a demonstration day.
That's it for business for now. I'll be back next hour with some more news for you. Gary L. Smith, standing by with Sports Station.
Gary L. Smith here, and it's a pleasure to bring you the sports update. Board chairman of the National Sports Authority, Seth Pawun, has revealed that his outfit will consider partnering the private sector to manage sporting facilities across the country. According to him, it is necessary to generate revenue to maintain these facilities.
We are going to have a different shift as a board to see how we can partner with private sectors, to maintain and also even generate funds from some of the facilities that are being installed in the stadium. We have a lot of rooms here that we can converge into other usage that will generate income and support the maintenances of the daily running of the organization. You know, we have vast lands that we can use and convert some into other usages that will equally generate fund. Fortunately for the NSA and for the fact that we have been listed under the institutions that are mandated by the Minister of Finance to also generate IGF, you know, to generate internal funds to supplement our activities and support that of the consolidated inflows. We can improvise some of these things whilst maintaining our core mandate of promoting the sporting activities in the country. So we have measures taken in place. We have taken note of a lot of them, and we are in discussions with a couple of institutions and individuals and corporate bodies to see how we can put to use the finishing touches of those things and put them into use for utilization of maybe IGF and also to the sporting fraternity.
Well, that's the sport for the moment, and you can get that game live on radio on Joy 99.7 FM in 12 minutes. I will be doing the summaries with George Addo Jr. right from here. I'm there in the studio. I'll be back again in the next half hour to bring you another batch of sports news.
I like that soundtrack, Becky.
Now that's me. That's my soundtrack. That's like Showbiz.
Very entertaining. Anyway,
you can never miss Showbiz.
We can.
Joy News Prime.
Becky, good to see you. What do you have for us today?
I have something on highlight music, and the person talking about the highlight music is Akwaba Jr.
One of my favorites.
It was on Prime Morning, and he was talking about the essence of projecting the highlight music to the rest of the world, and he believes that highlight music is the only way out for us.
Okay.
Yeah, Akwaba Jr.
And the latest song is very nice.
Very nice.
I mean, putting Sinner on is another level.
You love it, I know.
Yeah, a lot of soul, a lot of... It's rich. I love it.
Let's stay on high life music. And Enes, who do you think is the high life queen?
Ooh, that's a difficult one.
Exactly.
Currently? That's a difficult one because I think of Ifya, I think of Adina, but it's very difficult, especially for Ifya. I'm not sure if her genre is solely or exclusively high life because I see her do other things. So I don't know.
Well, Nana Ampedu, may his soul rest in peace, actually is rooting for, or rooted for, because she's no more with us, for Emilia Broby as the high life queen. Do you know that? Emilia will tell her story on E-Vibes this weekend on the Joy News channel, 8:30 a.m. before News File.
Okay.
This Saturday, you don't want to miss that. But
definitely, I won't miss that.
But I mean, let's talk about Kevin Boy. He's been in the news
for the wrong reasons, unfortunately.
For the wrong reasons, he's been granted 200,000 bail, but he's currently in Nigeria. You know, after the brouhaha. So a lot of people...
And the bill is because he allegedly assaulted a lady whom allegedly is his girlfriend.
They have 2 children together.
Okay.
Girls, beautiful girls, and allegedly he's been assaulting the lady for a very long time, and so this is what's happening, really.
Thank you very much, Becky, for bringing the latest in the world of showbiz.
Anytime.
So if Emilia is the queen of high life,
because
you are definitely the queen of showbiz.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
In the media space.
Right here.
I give that to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Now, Speaker of Parliament, Alban Badbin, has lashed out at the First Deputy Speaker, Joseph Osei-Wusu, over what he describes as his penchant to overturn his rulings. The Bekwa MP, who was in the Speaker's chair on Tuesday, threw out a private member's motion for a probe into government COVID-19 expenditure since the outbreak of the pandemic. The motion, which stood in the name of the Jumakwe-Nyanisiam MP, Kezalatu Forson, and seconded by the Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak, was arrested by the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Fanyomakin. He argued that the Auditor General is the only body clothed with the powers to conduct audits. Now, the Speaker, Alban Badbin, who was in the seat, ruled that the objection can only be raised after the motion has been tabled. Mr. Badman then vacated his seat for his first deputy Joseph Ososu to take over. The objection from the Futu MP was now sustained, contrary to the ruling of the Speaker. He argued that the motion ought not to have been admitted in the first place. Now, Alban Badman, who is upset with this development, described the conduct of his first deputy as illegal, unconstitutional, and offensive.
Another issue that requires addressing is the decision of the first deputy speaker to upend my admission of the motion and rule that the motion should not have been admitted in the first place. Honorable members, it is interesting to note that this is the second time the first deputy speaker has taken the chair and has made a ruling which in fact was to overrule a position I had earlier on established before the House. In fact, the first deputy speaker was in my office. And what I'm telling you today, I told him before he left to the airport. The first deputy speaker has contended, and rightfully so, on several occasions, that he is not the speaker. I have also on several occasions alluded to various areas of parliamentary practice where when the speaker is in the chair, makes a ruling, another presiding officer may not overturn that ruling. The penchant of the first deputy speaker to overrule my rulings is, to say the least, unconstitutional, illegal, and offensive. Be that as it may, I shall not be taking any steps to overrule the decision of the first deputy speaker to dismiss the motion as moved by the honorable ranking member of the Finance Committee. The deputy speakers and I will deliberate on how to present a more coherent and uniform structure in respect of rulings so that the House is guided at all times during deliberations.
The Speaker also threatened to compel the marshals to drag out MPs who are in breach of parliamentary proceedings.
I have traveled, witnessed, read, and at least I think I know a lot that you may not have gone through. What is happening in this parliament is completely unacceptable. And I'm not sure you have appreciation of the temperature of the country. Neither am I sure you know the arduous nature of the responsibility that have been placed on your shoulders. You are all mature adults. What I'm talking about is still happening. The Marshal Department, get ready. I'll be compelled to get a marshal to get people arrested and sent out. You are saying, hey, Parliament is not a place for joking. It's a place for business, serious national business. The Parliament we are in has never been in Ghana, even Gold Coast. This is a different type of Parliament. We might be prepared to change, to accept the decision of the people and work together. You make me sick. Will you shut up? You rule out of order in the House.
The Speaker, however, admonished the minority to apply the standing orders to challenge the dismissal of the motion by the First Deputy Speaker.
Our standing orders provide the procedure for challenging the rulings of the chair, and those aggrieved by the rulings may take the necessary steps. The proposers of the private member's motion may thus be guided by the standing orders of the House to right the wrong. I hope this is understood. And I repeat, I hope this statement provides a much needed clarity on the matters of dispute that arose yesterday. And I hope we can forge ahead for the common good of the people who have entrusted us with leadership and a mandate to better their lives. The standing orders will guide those who brought the motion, and the proper thing will be done for the House to consider the motion.
Meanwhile, Minority Leader Haruna Juju served notice of challenging the decision by the Second Deputy Speaker to dismiss the motion by the First Deputy.
Page 10, where reference is made to the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader. For the record, I thought that he referenced Article 187 to raise his objection. So in the second line, he raised a preliminary objection citing Article 187. That is what he did yesterday. If you want for emphasis 5, so that the record will have it, Mr. Speaker. I'm saying so because, as you yourself have rightly advised, we will challenge the ruling of your First Deputy, to which you have so eloquently addressed this morning. But we want the record to be succinctly captured that this was his objection. His objection was based on Article 187. He said so that tomorrow into the foreseeable future, we will know what guided the ruling for purpose of litigating on it as we intend to.
Away from Parliament, the Interior Minister Bruce Derry has revealed that a crack team of security personnel have been tasked to retrieve illegal weapons possessed by unauthorized persons in the country. This forms part of a series of measures put in place by government to deal with the proliferation of illegal arms and ammunition. The minister also indicated that some persons involved in the manufacturing of local weapons, also known as blacksmith, have been arrested in parts of the country. Answering a question on the floor of the House from the Norton MP Kobuna Mensa Woyome on steps taken by government to address the situation, the Nandom legislator expressed optimism that the new strategy adopted by government will rid the country of illegal arms in the system.
The police administration, in collaboration with other security agencies and stakeholders, such as the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, have developed a strategy to monitor, control, arrest, and prosecute persons involved in illicit arms transactions in the country. The following measures have been put in place. 1. The employment of intelligence-led police operations to search for and recover illegal weapons. And right over this, I can tell you, we are raking in a lot under this operation. Second, stringent measures are put in place at the various entry points to check illegal arms and detect concealed firearms in shipment containers. 3, there are efforts in place to mark all categories of weapons at the magazines of security agencies in the country using the ECOWAS unique marking code. This will make it easier for weapons to be identified and traced to a particular security agency in the event such a weapon is found at any crime scene. This is aimed at improving the physical security and stockpile management of weapons and prevent the temptation of elements within the security agencies from pilfering arms belonging to the state. 4, the laws which frown on manufacturing of arms are constantly monitored. Any blacksmiths found to be manufacturing guns are not spared. The monitoring exercise has led to the arrest of some blacksmiths in the eastern region who were reported to be providing locally manufactured guns to armed robbers. Right, Honorable Speaker, I must also indicate that the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons has been embarking on public education and sensitization programs to educate the citizenry on the dangers associated with the proliferation of weapons. I take this opportunity to urge the public to provide information to the security agencies for swift intervention to arrest smugglers of small arms and light weapons and criminals in general.
President Akufo-Addo has given the strongest indication that the Commander Sugar Factory will start operations in April this year. According to him, civil works being undertaken by the Indian investors will be completed by end of March, paving way for the production of sugar to begin. The operationalization of the factory was perhaps one of the major political issues in the central region in the 2016 and 2020 elections. The Commander Sugar Factory continues to remain a big albatross on the neck of this government. Receiving a delegation from the Commander Traditional Authority, the President said government is determined to get the factory running. Well, more
Commander Sugar Factory have started. Actually, almost about 50 more from Mashawa, since I war painting as it was on Chebiano, Yobasha for the processing with the raw material. Now, Mr. President, outgrowers here at this time because the original land now were allocated for a friend and sugar factory, about 5,000 and over. No, see, them land now about bay if he see, Commander Man was here, then come on find sugar factory, protein or ha sugar factory ni ready. Name won't to me yafa into me new shade no sabi you crum ho. Na yawo asasia or wasa fiance side wa yana na wasa nana himan yakasa ma once waja to mu there time no so for maybe production or sugar cane production na obeyi asasana was a the major man.
Still, some civil works are being done there. Nyampa, by the end of March, it will be completed. As I say planning, Indian phone whenever by April, production will have begun of the sugar factory. Sugar factory, about the some cassia. You don't say 1 year, Zukoya, na aquaba, Yami, Adaruma, Afedi. Mse Muhammad who say Isikwan Paso nearby in tea. Yenya may say by April no Nanyaman so at 2 years.
To other stories now, and the Shanti Regional Chairman of the governing New Patriotic Party is defending his decision to buy nomination forms and block for all polling station executives aspiring in the region. Bernard Enchibosiako has shut down criticism that the move could influence delegates and give him unfair advantage over other contestants for the regional chairmanship position. He tells Joy News his re-election as regional chairman of the party's World Bank has already been decided by delegates based on achievements for the party. According to Chairman Wuntumi, he has financially supported the organization of polling station elections across the country since 2012.
It has been a norm that Chairman Wuntumi, every 4 years, I buy for the polling station forms for the polling stations, and I buy for the constituency. Even some I buy for different regions. last 4 years, I buy for Bono and I buy for the northern region and the voter even as well. You know, so if I'm a player, then what is my interest in the other regions? And also, I also have supported to the national in 2015 when we was going for to do the national election. That time we was in opposition. I give them 1 billion. Today is 100,000. I'm just pleading, if anybody who thinks he's going to compete with me have money to donate, you know, I think it's the time if you want to compete. You know, it's about what you have done and what you want to do. It's a different thing. Donation is different and going to serve also is different.
You know, he's promising to support any of his opponents who would be elected regional chairman of the party.
If we go and God did not give it to us, you know, did not give it to me, anybody who has opportunity, okay, I will support the person. But bear in mind, I came to be a chairman when MPP was in opposition. And then I have favor from God and man. And when we came, okay, we won the power 2016 and 2020. This is the trump card. It's not about the money. It's about winning the power. Okay. It's about the winning. That's
even if you don't win the regional chairmanship position, you continue to support the party, serve whoever is chosen.
Obviously, I'm born, my blood, my bones, my hair, my nails, my everything, my eyes, my mouth, everything is MPP. MPP is bigger than me. I will say what I have to say to people, but if I say it and the people say no, it's this, fine. It's about what you have done. And the people, they know. They have already made their decision already.
The Lands Minister has expressed dissatisfaction with the donation made by the Ghana Chamber of Mines. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu Jinapo, said the over $400 million donation made to the Apiati Support Fund by the Chamber is inadequate. Now, according to the Minister, the Chamber has the capacity and resource to take full responsibility for the construction of the community.
So my point is that it won't be out of 10 if the Ghana Chamber of Mines were to take the whole bill of the reconstruction of this community, to absolutely not be out of 10 at all in all respects. Your might, your involvement in the community, your portfolios and everything. And I've told the Chief Executive that if I had my way, this support fund idea even should be abandoned. And the Chamber steps forward and says, this is an incident which has been occasioned by a matter relating to mining, where this, that, we take over the entire bill of reconstructing the community and supporting the victims and so on and so forth. But be that as it may, we are where we are. But I need to make these comments public. Mr. Chief, I'm sorry I have to do this, but it's important and I do it. That we appreciate the contribution of $4 million. It's highly welcome. I'm not sure Auntie Joyce will allow you to leave this room before she takes the check. She'll take it right now. She's in dire need of it. And I'm also particularly excited that you've mentioned the companies who have contributed. So the others who are involved in big ticket mining in our country, and the Ghanaian people see the business they are involved in and all of that. I think that the population will make conclusions for themselves. So the Ghanaian people are grateful to the Chamber to the extent that you came as a collective. But we are particularly grateful to Anglo Gold, grateful to Chirano, grateful to Newmont, and grateful to Goldfields. They've shown that they are our friends. They've shown that they stood by us in our greatest time of need. And the rest, we wait upon you. And I think that we cannot mince words on these matters.
Well, Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi has commended Ghanaians for their numerous contributions towards the reconstruction as well as the provision of relief items for the community. She said this when the Ghana Commercial Bank Minerals Income Investment Fund, among other corporate bodies and individuals, made their donations to the committee.
There's something about the Ghanaian, in spite of our complaining and critical spirit, we also have a spirit of generosity. And it comes into full play when we see that somebody else is suffering. And I'd like, through the media, to commend Ghanaians for the way we are rallying around to support Apiatse, and to also ask that we continue to do even more than what we are doing now. The community is going to be green and eco-sustainable, which will also begin to send the signals that we can no longer build the way we've been building before. So I think that out of this disaster, something very good is going to come out of it.
Now, according to NDC MPs, claims by Mr. Ofori-Atta, the finance minister, that the only way government can release adequate funds for the district assembly is through the passage of the e-levy. According to them, that is untrue. In the view of the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, the district assembly common fund has been in arrears since 2018. Addressing the media, the Tamale South MP asked Ghanaians to dismiss the claim by the minister and accused him of insincerity.
He is reported to have said in the Upper West region that pay e-levy for me to be able to pay the District Assembly Common Fund. Ghanaians should dismiss him with utmost contempt as an insincere minister who is not upholding the values of the provisions of Article 252 of the 1992 Constitution, which requires that 5% of total revenue is dedicated to the District Assembly Common Fund. He is in arrears from 2018 to 2019 to 2020 to 2021. He is in arrears of over 2,133,000,000 Ghana cedis. Yet, he has been collecting revenue, and just a dedicated 5% of that revenue, as is required of him by the 1992 Constitution, he has not made it available. That is why many regional coordinating councils, district assemblies have become dysfunctional, because they do not have the basic resources to run effectively. So he should stop misleading the Ghanaian public using District Assembly Common Fund as justification to impose e-levy. They have also made very strenuous and ferocious effort to say that e-levy is mentioned in the NDC manifesto. I say authoritatively, electronic transfer or electronic transaction levy of 1.75% only got introduced in Ghana the first time by Ken Ofori-Atta, nothing more. If you have any page where you see electronic transactions or electronic transfer levy of 1.75% of the NDC, share it with me. And he is not the only person globally. So he has a record. Nowhere in the world have you had any introduction of this levy even at 1.75%. When he says our neighbors, Kenya is not our neighbor, Uganda is not our neighbor, but all of them are within the limit of 0.5 to 0.2, even as this is failing them in those jurisdictions.
To other stories now, farmers at Enyinamso in the Echuma-Iwabeja district of the Ashanti region are seeking government intervention in what they describe as invasion of their cocoa farms by illegal miners. A visit to the small farming community revealed a daring act of illegal mining in the path of water bodies. Cocoa farms are found to be selling for between 10,000 and 25,000 cedis. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko was in the area and now reports.
Enyinamso number 1 and 2 are twin farming communities recently taken over by mining in the Echuma-Iwabeja district of Ashanti. The entire river belt of the river Enyinam has been taken over and destroyed by illegal miners, even as the government's Operation Halt fights mining close to water bodies across the country. So this is what remains of the river Enyinam. It has been stopped right here, and the miners are now digging deep within the riverbed itself. And so it is denying farmers here water to water their crops and even use it to spray their cocoa farms. And as you can see,
The river bed has been blocked here, and so definitely when it starts raining, there's going to be a huge overflow which will destroy their cocoa farms over to the other side. Cocoa farms are bought by miners for between 10,000 and 25,000 cedis. Those who will not sell, like Boache Mensah, sometimes find themselves cut out from their farms by the miners. They are frustrating us to force us to sell our farms, but we won't, because it's a legacy for us and our children's children. Some farmers are incensed with illegal mining activities here. We are appealing to government. The Chinese are destroying cocoa farms. Every mined area here used to be a cocoa farm that could have served our country well. But some of the miners claim they are operating legitimately even in the middle of the river. Thomas Arthur claims he works for a licensed mining company.
Small-scale mineral commission for the Nayak company.
This is a small-scale mining site awarded to Nayak by the Minerals Commission, and we are working with them. It extends to Kukubiso and Ekradada. For the distraction to the river, we came to meet it. Close to the main Nkarie Bebiani road, miners are busily digging close to the asphalt. Also, within the Enyinamso No. 2 township, some Chinese miners are boldly mining away with huge equipment. Until the government intervenes, farmers and cocoa farms are at great risk of mining. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Enyinamso, Ashanti region.
President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Afil has condemned the high-handed manner of arrest of journalists accused of infringing on the rights of others. He's therefore suggested that the use of non-criminal and civil avenues in dealing with such cases. Mr. Moni was speaking at the 25th anniversary ceremony of Volta Premier FM, a Joy FM affiliate, and Whole Technical University Campus Radio.
Volta Premier FM was set up in 1996 by some students with the support of the whole technical and university management to serve the campus community. Though a campus radio, it was widely accepted by the public. Volta Premier FM was the first affiliate of Joy FM in the Volta region. Speaking at the 25th anniversary ceremony of Volta Premier, the Vice-Chancellor of the whole technical university, Professor Ben Hojanuga, underscored the critical role the station played in disseminating information and the development of the media landscape in the region. The president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Afil Morning, lauded the achievement of the station but lamented what he described as a threat to press freedom in Ghana.
True, the use of coercive force to arrest journalists and prosecutorial power to punish them may be rooted in law. However, this approach is palpably corrosive to Ghana's image as a standard measure and reference point as far as press freedom is concerned. More seriously, it can trigger a precipitous drop in our ranking on the Press Freedom Index in Africa, where we are currently third, down from first a few years ago, and 30th in the world, a decline from our 27th position. Thankfully, the Constitution provides non-criminal or civil avenues for dealing with the use of free speech that infringes on the rights of others. Thus is the way to go in response to the growing cases of arrests and prosecution of journalists.
A seasoned journalist, founder and president of the African University College of Communications, Kojo Yanka, implored the media to be circumspect in their reportage and endeavor to practice development journalism.
And if you are creating or doing something, don't do it because you want to win an award. No. Do it because you love doing it and that it is going to make an impact in somebody's life. If somebody recognizes it and gives you an award, that's fine. I ask myself every day, where would Ghana be if the whole country had listened to Kwame Nkrumah to unite Africa and we're a united continent? And some people say, oh, we speak different languages. I said, that's all rubbish. The Germans, the French, the English, they form a strong European Union. They don't speak the same languages. They are united. If we're a united continent, now all the raw materials for latest technologies are in Africa. We would be holding the bargaining chip. We will not be allowing people to just bring any machine and go into our rivers and then damage the rivers for us. The point I'm making, let's think continentally.
Some outstanding and long-serving staff and clients of Volta Premier were honored with citations. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News. Ooh.
You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Mini. We're taking a break. When we return, we have more business and sports for you. Please don't go away.
Business news for you on Joy News Prime. Ghana's trade surplus will narrow to $1 billion in 2022. That's a forecast by Feud Solutions. This will appear on the back of rising consumer-driven import growth, whilst falling oil and cocoa production will temper export growth. It may have an impact on the country's balance of payment and consequently the value of the cedi. Charles Nixon Yeboah has more.
Despite crude oil trading at about $97 on the world market, according to Feud Solutions, a 1.9% decline in oil production in 2022 as a result of recent low exploration activity and continued investor insecurity is a major concern. This will keep production below pre-pandemic levels and subsequently weigh on exports. Oil actually represented 23.2% of the country's total exports in 2020. Feud Solutions agribusiness team also forecast a 3.5% decline in cocoa production, largely as a result of base effect, as well as structural issues such as labor problems and fragmentation. As cocoa exports made up of 16.6% of exports in 2020, this will also weigh on export growth. It, however, anticipates a stronger gold production and prices in the coming year, though this will not be enough to offset the aforementioned factors and affect the country's balance of payment and consequently the value of the cedi. Ghana recorded a trade surplus of a little above $1.1 billion last year, lower than the about $2 billion recorded in 2020.
Former Finance Minister said Tekwe wants government to demonstrate bold commitment in addressing challenges in the fiscal economy to send a positive signal to investors and the financial markets. According to him, that is the only way which will convince investors to repose confidence in the economy and help stabilize the cedi. He told Joy Business a 20% cut in expenditure would do very little.
Yeah, I'm afraid the market seems to look for, a bigger package, than that announcement. And why? Because when you say you are cutting expenditure by 20%, one, you have statutory payments, and then you also have quasi-statutory payments, which happen to be, the two major items that are taking a lot of, revenue. That is compensation and interest. So if you say you are cutting 20%, you have to meet those commitments. Of course, we know, the policy not to make NAPCO and others permanent, which will mean that at best
the compensation package will stabilize. But you also have in the wings the strikes and negotiations that are taking place, and when that happens, it will increase, the compensation package. I think we have a long tradition for negotiations, and there's a framework for it. So I would only hope that that framework is what is being followed. But I'm talking more about, the packages and what. But the main point I'm making is that the 20% may not have an impact, on compensation, and two, it may not have an impact, or it will not have an impact on interest payments. Because otherwise what? You cut it and you default because the commitment is there. So then, and if you look at the fact that these are taking all of, total revenue, even if you take it to be tax revenue, then your 20% impact is going to have on capital, other recurrent expenditure, mainly. And those are already, mathematically less than or just above 20% of the budget anyway. So what is it that we are cutting?
Let's bring you on a quick story. Some women farmers in the Upper East region say wildlife such as elephants and the indiscriminate cutting down of trees is a major challenge affecting the agri sector in that region. This was revealed at a gathering of royals from across the country to find solutions to challenges confronting women in the area. Joy Business's Beverly Broom was there and comes through with this report.
In Ghana, about 80% of subsistence farming is practiced by women, hence the contribution of women in the agricultural sector cannot be overlooked. But unfortunately, these women face several challenges that hinder their farming activities. In the Upper East region, one of the country's most deprived areas, a major problem affecting farmers noted by Portia Asumda, leader of the Kusanaba, is the invasion of elephants and cutting down of their shade trees for charcoal.
First of all, I would like to say that, in fact, the elephants, it has not been easy for us in the community there. They are living with us. We have done all our best to drive them away, but it is not easy. Last year, we didn't get any crop home. The elephant took everything from the farm. And the other problem is our shade trees have been cut, they've been cutting it down for charcoal and other things. And when you go to talk, they don't mind us. So we'll be very happy if the government can do something, work with the Assemble and do something.
Some queen mothers in the southern sector speaking to Joy Business at a gathering of royals and stakeholders of the food and agricultural sector discussed major concerns hindering the growth and sustainability of women farmers in their districts and communities.
The most prominent need is finance, because it's very difficult to find money in Ghana. Trying to find money in Ghana is like trying to get money out of a stone. So if there were facilities whereby one could access funds to support the farm, hand in hand with the bankers, so they could follow the progress of what's going on the farm, that would help a lot.
Land acquisition is one, access to land, especially for the women, and two, road network to the various farms. After the produce, how to transport it back home is a problem. The third point is the capital for the farming, because we realize that now agri take a vast distance. If you don't have money, capital to start, it will be very difficult for you to do. And we also made mention of the cattle. The cattle is destroying the whole farm, and normally they don't move in the daytime, they move in the night while you are sleeping.
We have the biggest plantation farm in Osudoku. That's the banana farm. It seems the whole West Africa. Osudoku has that biggest plantation farm. But the road to the banana farm is more dangerous. So sometimes what I know is when they send the products to the airport, they bring them back because there are scratches on the banana.
Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture, Yao Frimpong Ado, said that even though the concerns raised are not new to the ministry, he promised his outfit will work on resolving the issues.
The challenges that they brought out, it's not that we don't know about the challenges, but the emphasis they laid on, these are queen mothers representing all the women in their various areas, traditional areas. When they say something, you should know that these things have weight. So if we were dealing with it with some case closed, now we have to deal with it with adult gloves.
The lead speaker at the event and Member of Parliament for Kolekulote constituency, Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, called for involvement of stakeholders during policy implementation.
The 1992 Constitution is special because it involved people from all walks of life. Why are we not seeing more engagement with you as the stakeholders when policies are being designed and being implemented? We have to move away from only looking at the so-called technocrats as the stakeholders and actually hear you out. You are the ones who know what is happening. You know your struggles and you know your challenges, but more importantly, you know the solutions. So you can advise us on the kind of policies that will make sense and actually ensure that gender mainstreaming moves away from an abstract concept and actually becomes something that ensures that when we talk about women's empowerment, it's not something that's in a book.
The gathering of Royals Independent event seeks to improve the lives and livelihoods of women in farming.
And that's it for this segment. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. We leave you with some news from around the world.
Gary Al Smith here with the second batch of the sport. Thank you for your time. We begin with boxing because former IBF lightweight champion Richard Comey does not think the structure of the inaugural professional boxing league will inure to the benefit of pugilists in the country. Why is he saying that? Well, Aman Asari Bediako has the rest of the story.
The Professional Boxing League, which was launched in December 2021, will go down in the annals of Ghana boxing as one of the most significant showpieces on the country's boxing calendar. The Ghana Boxing Authority and iMass Media Group have signed a 5-year deal The new GBA management team's vision and efforts were given a huge boost by IMAS, which decided to support the development of boxing in the country by committing to invest a total of $1.7 million into the sport. The league has begun on a promising note, but not all stakeholders are happy with its introduction. One of such persons is former IBF lightweight champion Richard Comey.
You can't bring in something like something like this when everything is messed up. You know what I mean? And I know they want to do this. They want to do it because they've seen the money involved, and they know that is why they're trying to do it behind the promoters, the managers, because they know they give the bosses any amount of money and then they keep the rest. And that is, these guys put their life on the line. Remember, I always say this, you put these guys out there, you think they are stupid. No, all bosses are stupid. I ain't stupid. You know what I mean? And boxing, you need to be mentally strong and be wise. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot to be a boxer. If it's easy, everyone would be boxer. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't be playing with the intelligence of the boxers. You know what I mean? Some of them are wise, just that they need someone like me who can see it how it is. And
the Ghana Professional Boxing League is a bi-weekly competition which provides a platform for boxers in the country to exhibit their talent.
That's Richard Comey, you know what I mean? Anyway, in football, the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram is set to undergo a massive facelift. That's according to the director of the center, Winifred Maudeku, who gives us more details for this hopefully positive story.
We have been able to do a lot of refurbishment and maintenance work around here. We've been able to also expand some of the facilities that we have, the usage of the facilities. We had a number of classrooms that were not being used, which have been currently being converted into dormitories, so that it will help us have more intakes and do a lot more training programs. We have tried to open the facility up. We have built a beach soccer pitch, which is still under construction, but it's good for the players to train if they don't have to go to the beach. And so a lot of activities have gone on within this short period, and we are looking forward to more. So currently, the contractor is yet to hand over the project to us. We know that he has almost finished. He's put the pipes and everything. We have to test it, and then he would hand it over to us. So I think in the next month or two, we will have the borehole water running. We already have a distillation plant here, and so we're going to distill it and take out the salt water, and then we can begin to use it. So everything is on course in that direction.
Meanwhile, in the Champions League game we told you about in the first part is Atletico Madrid, who came into this game in all sorts of disarray, who are actually leading against Manchester United. It's a 0-0 against the Red Devils, goal by Joao Felix. Halftime now, second half commentary will be again on Joy 99.7 FM. That's the sport for now. I'm Gary L. Smith. Thank you for your time.
And that's our package for tonight. Many thanks for joining us. You have more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is PM Express with Evans Mensah. Don't change your channel.